Ed, it's like those AI fears haven't gone away. For one, you have a jumpy markets to start the week on that Google news about more compressed memory needs. And then you have this report this morning about some sort of Anthropic release that's pressuring cyber stocks. We're still concerned and still a jumpy market at this point.
Yeah, all of the above. I mean, the thing with the NASDAQ 100, or if you just take technology stocks in general, is that there has been a macro-driven drawdown, right? And that much like in the broader market, there's been a rotation out of growth, and that clearly impacts that index, at least at the NASDAQ 100 level. But what people are looking at is not necessarily the direct linear effects of what's happening with the war in Iran. We've assessed the supply chain risk, for example, with helium and sulfur on the chip manufacturing side. But it's simply the consistent themes: free cash flows, capital expenditure spending, and AI spending holding up. And we can get into the nitty-gritty of why memory, which, by the way, now the story's completely changed. It's not memory, it's storage, as a result of turbo quant. But those themes have been completely consistent. And nothing has really changed in terms of catalysts in either direction in the last 10 days or so.
Ed, speaking of Anthropic, maybe they're in this kind of stage of putting all these updates and releases out there, because it seems like they'll be IPOing. I know you and I were talking about a SpaceX IPO. It seems like Anthropic might be trying to join in the fund this year.
Yeah. Our reporting is that the end of this year is the target, and there is also like a starter gun type situation where either SpaceX is or is not going to file its prospectus confidentially in the coming week. They may go first. That June is still our latest reporting on SpaceX. Is Anthropic waiting for SpaceX? It's very hard to know that. There are obviously bankers on the top line common between them, all trying to pull this off, and OpenAI somewhere in the middle. But really, the driver in markets as it relates to Anthropic today is that Fortune report on an unknown model that was accidentally released in a blog. But yeah, that's the latest reporting.
Well, what did you make of that report, Ed, and the fact that it's sending CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, all of them down so hard?
Yeah. It's not straightforward. Basically, Fortune did a report about a model that's unreleased because there was a blog draft about it in an unsecured location that was found. And then Anthropic confirmed the model's existence via a spokesperson. The reason those cyber stocks are down is that this particular model, this next generation model, which is not yet released, Anthropic, in its own internal detailing, is talking about its competence on the offense. In other words, the capabilities, the cybersecurity capabilities of this model to go out and be offensive is greater than those cyber names that you just mentioned's ability to provide defense. And they are acknowledging an internal concern about that, which is a fascinating state of affairs. That in the future, that is one consideration with AI. It is so good at cyber as a threat that you need to get a hold over it.